Welcome back to Closet Cosplay, the podcast where we create con-worthy cosplays on a closet budget. I'm Michelle.
And I'm LJ. And today we are going to be doing not one cosplay, but actually 5 cosplays. And while that might sound intimidating, it's actually really not. It's going to be part of our Halloween series. And today we're going to be talking about a Marvel-themed family costume set. And so our characters are...
We've got Captain Marvel, Captain America, those are the parents. And then for the 3 kids, we've got the oldest girl, I believe, is 9. She wants to play Scarlet Witch. We have a 7-year-old boy that will be Spider-Man and a 3-year-old boy that will be Hulk, which we just believe is so adorable that the littlest one is going to be the Hulk.
I think that's going to be really, really super cute. And honestly, like I said, it's really not that intimidating because these are very popular characters, especially right now. Maybe 20 years ago it would have been difficult to find costumes for this, but... You know, with the advent of all the Marvel movies and with their popularity, this was actually one of the easier cosplays, I think, that we were able to put together, even though it was 5. And, you know, we discussed last time, Halloween costumes differ a little bit from cosplay costumes that you would take to a con. They're simpler, they're cheaper, but they still get across exactly what you're trying to display because everybody knows who they are. So I think we're going to start off with... Who do you want to start off with?
We can start with the parents. So Captain Marvel and Captain America. And when I went and looked at these, I mean, they have the one-piece suits for Captain Marvel and Captain America both. And with Captain Marvel, that's what I ended up choosing. We chose just a one-piece, like the jumpsuit type thing. The bodysuit, that's what they're called. And so they have the printed suit on them. And so I think that's just the easiest way because Ashley, the person who put this suggestion in for us, her number one priority was accuracy. And the way you get accuracy with these is you just have it printed on a jumpsuit or on a bodysuit. Instead of trying to get all these little details together.
Yeah, and those are actually even really popular in cosplay conventions. Bodysuits, I'm seeing a lot of bodysuits done, not only at conventions, but on web apps like TikTok. One of the cosplayers that I follow on my Instagram, like that's almost exclusively what she does, is just various kinds of bodysuits. So it's not one of these things where somebody's gonna be looking at you and going, oh, that's a cheap version of it. Like it's a very well accepted version of how to do a cosplay, and it's extremely accurate and it's extremely affordable.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's a really good choice. It's gonna fit in really well and it's gonna look exactly the way she wants it to.
Exactly. It'll be perfect. It'll have all the details in it and it's going to fit great. I'm excited for it. I think it'll look really good.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
It's the best option out there. From when I searched on Amazon, there were multiple different versions. I liked the one we have in the Amazon cart the best. I think it looked the best. It had the best reviews generally.
Yeah.
As far as Captain America goes, they had the full bodysuit for Captain America, but it felt like every single one I looked at had like the fake muscles in it.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't a fan of that look.
It looks a little outdated. It looks a little cheesy. I don't think it's necessary to get it. I don't even think, okay, maybe I'm a little wrong on this. When I think of Captain America, like I understand in the comic book, like he's extremely buff, like almost jokingly so. There's one artist that did a really horrible depiction of him. In the movie, I think of him more as like toned.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like muscle buff, and maybe that's just my memory telling me that. But
I feel like if you're a male adult going for Hulk, then yeah, get the muscle suit.
Sure.
Right. But I feel like if you're going for Captain America, you can do it more subtly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I looked at the bodysuits and yeah, I kind of was like, maybe this one, maybe that one. And then I ended up finding on the recommended, which is just great.
Yeah.
Because you start searching something and a recommended thing will pop up, which is actually what you want.
Sometimes I will just scroll to the bottom. If I know it's an item that I don't like, but it's close to what I'm looking for, sometimes I will still click that item and just scroll all the way down to the recommended items.
Exactly. It's a great Amazon hack.
Yeah.
So I scrolled down, I saw this recommended. It's a compression shirt, but it's got the full print of Captain America's like suit on this shirt. And when I went to it, it has a long sleeve version and a short sleeve version, depending on how hot or cold Halloween is going to be this year. You know, you could take your pick. I think you could honestly put jeans with this or any kind of pant with this, and it would be a cute, I mean, it would be a good look for a dad, right? To just have the shirt and like the jeans. And then we also found a shield, which isn't kid sized. It's a decent size. I think it would work for this, but it's not the like $200 display metal Captain America shield.
And again, if you're going to be toting around 3 children, you don't really need that. You need something that's going to be manageable to sling on your back or hook on a hip or something, so you can handle the kids if you need to.
Or the kids can carry around and have fun with it too. It was
also
a good
true.
size for for the male, for the kid, for whatever you need to do. I think it's a good size. It's not the 12-inch tiny one, but it's not this gigantic display one either.
Right.
So I thought that would work well for that. And we've kind of mentioned some Amazon hacks, but while we're at it, let's talk about reviews.
Yeah, since we have talked a little bit about that already. And I know that we've mentioned in the reviews in the past, but I actually have learned some more interesting things about reviews, just so you guys know. So I was, our normal tip is, hey, do not sort by best. Do not sort by worst. Well, I think worst are worth looking at, but the most reliable thing that I have found is to sort by the most recent, because manufacturers over time, especially with fabrics, I've learned this too, not all fabrics are always available all the time. And so while you could have bought something a year ago, they may not have access to those same materials that they had. And it could be, typically, is a lower quality. So I really like to sort by reviews that are the most recent, and that has given me the most true to life expectations that I have found. One of the other things I have discovered, just to go off on our little Amazon tangent, is Amazon apparently averages reviews across the manufacturer as opposed to assigning a review individually to an item. So say a manufacturer has 10 items and 7 of them are 5-star reviews and the other ones are 1, like it will average across all those 10 to something that I can't figure out right now because I'm bad at math, but
you get the point.
Right. So, but that gives you kind of, because I kept running into stuff where I'm like, this says it's 4.5 stars, but every review almost that I see on this is terrible. How is that even possible? So with a little research, that's what I found out. So if you see something like that's 4.5-star reviews or whatever, but you're seeing a lot of bad reviews for it, trust those. Right. Do not trust the overall. That is definitely our tip for that.
Also, if people leave pictures with their reviews, that's a really great thing to look at, especially if you can find somebody that's close to your body type in the actual bodysuit or in the actual shirt or in the actual item you're buying. It can give you a lot better, real life depiction of what that will look like instead of, oh, they just got a small and they said it fits.
Yeah.
You can actually see what their body looks like and what it looks like on and how it fits.
Yeah. And speaking of body types too, one thing that I'll mention is, and this should be, I think this is pretty well known at this point, but it is worth repeating, that look where it is manufactured, because an 8 in America is not the same as an 8 in China. And I know that very well because I typically, just to give some personal or anecdotal evidence for that, typically when I order, I'm a dress size 8, and when I order from China, I have to order something that's like a 12 or a 14. Like, I have to go up several sizes because the measurements are not the same as it is over there. And that's one thing, too, that I like to tell people. Take your actual measurements. Get a tape measure, a dress tape measure, measure your bust, measure your waist, measure your hips, because a lot of those places will list that information. And it is the most accurate thing. And you'll even see in our suggestion forms, like we ask, if you have your measurements, that's the best thing that we could possibly have for suggestions if you're really wanting like a true to life custom fit for yourself. And what's funny too is a lot of those things that are made in China, if you email them, they will actually make things to your measurements exactly. I've seen that quite a bit in various ball dresses and stuff that I've had to like look for. People are like, yeah, I just emailed the vendor my size, my actual measurements, and they made it exactly, and it fits like a glove. Like, you would be really surprised how much of that stuff is actually manageable.
Yeah, that's great. And the reason we bring up reviews and sizes and everything is because on the particular Captain Marvel bodysuit that we have on the Amazon list, when I was looking through the reviews, most people were like, order 2 sizes down. So I would definitely recommend just going through those reviews, reading, people's experience, looking at pictures and seeing what size you actually want, because it's hard to say like, hey, buy this size without you personally looking at it. So I would just make sure to just go through a couple of reviews before you hit the buy button on that one.
Definitely. And also too, just to when stuff is coming from overseas, you need to account for that time. Especially, and that's one of the reasons that we're even starting these Halloween episodes as early as we are, is because if you see something you really like and it's from overseas, especially like I ordered something from Australia once and it took 6 weeks to get to me.
Right.
And China's typically 4 to 5 weeks. So you give yourself enough lead time to do that sort of thing if you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Just pay attention to, if you have a Prime membership, yeah, you can get stuff in 2 days. If you don't, then you need to pay attention to, how it's shipping, where it's shipping from. And I think in the cart even it might, or maybe when you buy the item, it'll tell you how quickly it's coming, and you can back out if it's going to come after Halloween and find a different alternative.
I always look for that. And also be aware of things that say will be in stock on a certain date, because that is not necessarily true. And even if it is true, it does not mean that you will be first in line for it, and it does not mean that they will ship it out that same day. I have learned that the hard way.
Right. And getting back to our costumes, we also have in the Amazon cart a Captain America, what do you call that? The helmet, I guess?
It's
headpiece.
It's like a helmet mask combo.
Yeah. There were definitely in the bodysuits I found, there were like those cheap versions that they're just cloth.
Yeah.
They do have an individual one, and this is just kind of like take it or leave it if you want the mask part or if you don't. But this one's a latex mask, so it just looks like it'll be better quality than those fabric ones.
And I think this is one of the times, too, where you should pick and choose what it is that you're going to have, because the main piece, the one thing that makes it good for having going with only the compression shirt is it is the way that it looks, but you have all these really nice pieces. You have the shield and you have the mask that sell it a lot more and a lot more authentically than if you just had a full printed bodysuit with fake muscles. Like, I think that just going with just the shirt and then spending the extra quality and money on these nice accessories, it's gonna look like a much higher quality costume.
That was my thought too. It's like, instead of going with this kind of fake muscle suit that looks like a Halloween costume, you could make it look better just by getting the individual pieces.
And I think that's a really smart idea, and that's definitely what I would suggest doing. If you have to choose between those two, go for that.
And I felt like Captain Marvel didn't have as many accessories to choose from like Captain America does. So yeah, go for the bodysuit to get the details.
Exactly. And
speaking of pre-made costumes, Scarlet Witch in a little girl's costume does not exist on Amazon apparently. Because I tried.
Which is somewhat not surprising. I would expect that.
They had like the, women's costumes.
Right.
And even they didn't look that great to me. Like,
really?
They looked cheaper. They were like a shirt coat combo, which I was like, why would you do that?
That's weird.
But that's Halloween costumes for you. You'll find that stuff where sometimes it's just so much better to do it yourself. So for our 9-year-old girl's Scarlet Witch, what we ended up doing instead of finding a costume, if you look at her outfit, she's got black pants, black boots, which is pretty typical in a little girl's wardrobe.
You can find that.
They would have that. So we didn't add that onto the Amazon list. What we did add is this beautiful faux leather quilted shoulder motorcycle jacket in red.
It looks so good, you guys.
It's super cute. It takes out having to get a shirt and a coat. And it's not a long coat, but I think it's going to sell the idea.
Right.
With it being this faux leather feel. I think it's super cute and it's accurate enough. It's got black detailing on it.
Well, definitely because you are part of a group cosplay.
Right.
And I think that's also one of the things, too, is like when you are removed from context and your costume isn't totally accurate, people might not be able to guess it. But when you are given the context of other people who are very clearly characters, people can make those connections a lot easier.
Right. And I think this is one of those times where get the red jacket, do the black pants, black boots. And one really cool thing that I found a YouTuber actually do, I looked up how I could show these like fire hands or this like energy hand that she has, these red, you see all this red glow always coming from her. And I mean, red contacts would totally sell it, but
I don't think you're gonna get that as a kid.
Yeah, I don't think like we want a 9-year-old girl wearing red contacts, but hey, if you're a woman and you want to do this cosplay, get the red contacts. I think it'd be cool. But we found this kind of hack for doing this without getting like glow lights or doing something crazy, where we picked out a black glove, a fingerless black glove that kind of has places that you could tuck in a red tool. So you could kind of find a red tool, cut it to a size, and kind of tuck it in different spots in this glove, and it would almost give you that, like, glowing
like
effect.
A fiery sort of effect.
Yes.
That's
and
interesting.
I think it'll look really neat in pictures to have that, have a stance with this red kind of coming out. And the one on Amazon is 25 yards. You do not need that much. I think you could go to your local, like, Michael's craft store and find
get you a yard of it cut.
Yeah, a yard of tool for a lot cheaper. Save yourself a little money.
Definitely.
And you could probably even find little girls' black fingerless gloves somewhere locally, because the ones I found are women's gloves, so they might just be too big. Mm-hmm. But I looked up black fingerless gloves for little girls, and it was near impossible on Amazon to find them. So you may just be able to go to a Halloween store, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely the time. I actually was a little bit scared. There was some fake post going around that Spirit Halloween wasn't going to be open this year. And I was like, no! And then I did 2 seconds worth of research, and it was not true. But now that Spirit Halloween is out, or whatever is the local flavor of your Halloween store, this stuff is going to be so easy to find.
Right. Like, you would be able to probably go in there, and if you find any alternative to what we've got on these Amazon lists, then buy it cheaper at the Halloween store, because it's available to you,
But this gives you the outline and the ideas and sort of the direction that you should be aiming for.
Yeah.
We trust your judgment.
Yes, exactly. But I just loved that YouTuber gave that idea of just tucking the tool into the black gloves.
That's clever.
To kind of
and
that.
Especially, too, because I don't think that should be... especially since this is a kid, but not, like, too young. Like, if it was a little kid, I'd be like, maybe you don't want to do that, because they'll be tearing it out and be all sorts of stuff. But she's, how old did you say she was?
9 years old,
9.
yeah.
She'll probably handle it fine.
Right. And that's, up to your discretion. Obviously, you could do it or not. I just thought it was a neat thing to
for sure.
mention, that any cosplayer could use, honestly.
Oh, yeah, no, it'd be a good one.
So, let's move on. We've got our 7-year-old boy is going to play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So fun. I found a bodysuit for this one that looks really good. It's got gold detailing on it, which I think just gives it that extra bit of flair.
Yeah, this is another one that is really easy to go with the print version of it, because Spider-Man basically just wears a print version of his own costume in the first place. So it's one of the go-to superhero costumes that has existed since I was a kid, you know, and long before that people would use. And so I think that not only is it going to be extremely accurate to what people expect, like, it's going to be comfortable. It's going to not be an issue, and it's going to be exactly what they want.
And, I mean, what little boy doesn't want to have a Spider-Man suit in his closet?
Absolutely.
I mean, not even for just Halloween, for every day.
Exactly.
Go out as Spider-Man. I think that's awesome.
But he does have the fun thing of the web slinger.
Yes. So I added a web slinger into the Amazon list just because I'm pretty sure I had one of these as a kid, and it was just endless hours of fun.
Oh,
and I think you can replace it with silly string even when the web sling
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
You can replace it. So I just thought that would be fun. I mean, obviously it's not necessary. It's just an added element for flavor.
And obviously use your best judgment if you are giving this to a kid, because sometimes they don't realize that stuff is very flammable.
Yeah.
And then when you were out in Halloween and they have candles everywhere and jack-o'-lanterns and stuff, it is something to be very aware of. So if your kid likes to go crazy with that sort of thing, or doesn't have the kind of self-discipline, or is just too young, you know, I would say no, but even if you want to do it for pictures where they're just standing there and then they shoot it off, that might be worth it. But I do think it's a fun toy and a fun little bit of interactivity that kids could have with it. So.
Oh, absolutely. And then we've got our little 3-year-old that wants to be Hulk. And we found a bodysuit for this one, too, that actually does have muscles. And I think the muscle suit for the 3-year-old is adorable.
I think because it's just that sort of contrast of absurdity of, like, something very small posing as something very big, and that's what makes it funny. And this is the time where you would want to have a muscle suit, because that's basically the Hulk's costume.
Exactly.
Muscles, big muscles, and purple shorts. Like,
yes. And I think this does it very well. It looks like it's not a bodysuit all the way down to the feet, so you could wear your own shoes, so that just adds more comfort, I think. And then the mask looks pretty easy on and off, and almost, I can't tell exactly how it's attached, but it doesn't look as, huge on the face as some of the other
right.
Hulk outfits I saw, where it was just covering your whole face. This one mainly just covers the eyes, which I think would be better.
I think that's good for a younger child.
Right.
And even if, let's say your kid just does not like the mask or anything like that. Some kids have sensory issues where they just don't want the mask on their face. You can maybe try a paint instead, and that's one of the other things. And it doesn't even have to be their whole face. If you want to put like just a little bit on their cheeks, it doesn't really... People are going to know, regardless of whether you have a mask or green face paint, that's the Hulk. This is another one of those extremely recognizable characters that everybody is going to know. And it's just adorable that it's a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I love it. I love this family this family costume unit that it's all matchy. I just think that's so adorable. It's going to look great.
It's really cute. And this is a family that has done group photos or group costumes in the past. And so one thing that to remember, if you're doing these kind of group cosplays, is really work on the way you want to pose. Because, like, get close in together, tier yourself, and what I mean is, like, put the smallest one in the front, put the next tallest one. Think some basic photography, I don't want to say formatting, posing, putting people, I'm sure somebody out there knows exactly what word I'm trying to say, but, because you want these photos for posterity. You don't want, like, somebody way out to the side or somebody just standing there doing nothing, but they seem like they're fairly into it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
No. I mean, I think this is fun. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man has his, like, super iconic poses. I think the Scarlet Witch, if you do the tool, could have her hands out, I think would be really fun.
That's what I always see, because there's always, like, these iconic poses that if you just even Google their name, like, look at the first 20 pictures, and 10 of them are probably going to be the person in the same pose.
Absolutely.
So, but... overall, I think it's going to be a really nice, cohesive family costume, and hopefully this gives you guys some leads if you're interested in doing any sort of Marvel costumes or just want a spider web slinger, because I kind of just want those for around the house.
Yeah, you just go get somebody with that for sure. It's fun. Well, we had fun picking these costumes out and you know, finding new ways with the fire hands to, you know, be creative in that. So
yeah, we always learn something new too, which is great.
We teach ourselves as well, but we just super appreciate you guys giving us the suggestion and letting us have fun creating Halloween costumes for a whole family. That was just so much fun. So if you guys have any more suggestions, we'll be talking about our Halloween costumes coming up soon. We are so close to Halloween season. I can just taste it. It's so great.
She already came in yesterday with a bunch of Halloween decorations.
I know.
It's getting real, guys.
Yeah, it's out in stores, so it's too tempting for me not to come home with more decorations for the house.
That's true.
So I hope you guys are enjoying, hopefully, fall weather soon.
Yes, hopefully.
And enjoying the spooky season. You know, who says you can't celebrate early?
Exactly.
And if you have any suggestions for us.
Spooky suggestions.
Ooh, yeah. We'd love to work on anything for you guys.
Halloween or cosplay, just shoot us a suggestion. You can find or contact us. We'll link you to it straight from our Facebook, or you can follow any of the links listed in the Spotify information, Facebook information. We got a lot of ways for you guys to contact us.
Absolutely. And if you need to reach out to us in any other way, if you have questions or any little thing, or you just want to say hi, you can email us at closetcosplaypodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you guys.
I think that's it for us.
That's it for us this episode. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.